Barber is an occupational surname for a barber. It is Old French in origin. It is often the anglicized form of the Italian surname Barbieri. Notable people with the name include A. B. Barber, American Army Colonel. Adrian Barber, born 1938. British musician, producer. Alan Barber, 1905 to 1985. English amateur first-class cricketer. Alden G. Barber, 1919 to 2003. Boy Scouts of America figure. Elisha Barber, born 1987. Trinidadian sprint hurdler. Alf Barber, 1902 to 1967. British boxer. Alison Barber, American University Chancellor. Amos W. Barber, 1861 to 1915. American surgeon and politician. Amziel Barber, American pioneer of the asphalt industry. Andrea Barber, born 1976. American actress. Anthony Barber. Baron Barber, 1920 to 2005. British cabinet minister. Antonia Barber, born 1932. English author. Arthur Barber, 1898 after 1925. English cricketer. Augustus Barber, 1927 to 2008. American businessman and founder of Barber Foods. Ava Barber, born 1954. American country music singer and performer. Ben Barber, born 1984. Australian actor. Benjamin Barber, 1939 to 2017. American political scientist. Bill Barber, born 1952. Canadian hockey player. Bill Barber. Musician, 1920 to 2007. Jazz musician. Billy Barber. Musician. American keyboardist and composer. Bob Barber. Disambiguation. Multiple people, including Bob Barber. Cricketer, born 1935. English cricketer. Bob Barber. American football, born 1951. American footballer. Bob Barber. Ice hockey, born 1943. Canadian professional ice hockey player. Bob Barber. Rugby union, born 1945. New Zealand rugby union player. Bobby Barber, 1894 to 1976. American character actor. Brian Barber, born 1973. Baseball starting pitcher. Sir Brendan Barber, born 1951. General Secretary of the Trades Union Congress. United Kingdom. Bruce Barber, born 1950. New Zealand-born artist, writer, curator and educator. Brian Barber, born 1970. American music video and motion picture director. C. Charles Barber. Disambiguation. Multiple people, including Charles Barber. Artist. C. 1784 to 1854. English landscape painter and art teacher. Charles Barber. Author. Born 1962. American author on mental health and psychiatry. Charles Barber. Brigadier. 1888 to 1965. Army officer. Charles Alfred Barber. 1860 to 1933. British botanist. Charles Arnold Barber. 1848 to 1915. Canadian architect and inventor. Charles Burton Barber. 1845 to 1894. English painter. Charles Chapman Barber. Died 1882. English lawyer. Charles E. Barber. 1840 to 1917. Chief engraver of the United States Mint. Charles I. Barber. 1887 to 1962. American architect. Charlie Barber. 1854 to 1910. American baseball player. Chris Barber. Disambiguation. Multiple people, including Chris Barber. Born 1930. British jazz band leader and trombonist. Chris Barber. Gridiron football. Born 1964. American football player. Chris Barber. Philanthropist. 1921 to 2012. Chair of Oxfam 1983–89. Christopher Barber. Painter. 1736–1810. English miniature painter. Clarence Barber. 1917–2004. Canadian economist and academic. Sir Colin Muir Barber. 1897–1964. British general. D. Dan Barber. Born 1969. American chef and restaurant owner. Daniel Barber. Disambiguation. Multiple people, including Daniel Barber. Director. British screen director. Daniel Barber. Minister. 1756–1834. American Episcopalian minister. Danny Barber. Born 1971. American soccer player. Darren Barber. Born 1968. Canadian rower. David Barber. Disambiguation. Multiple people, including David Barber. Actor. British television actor. David Barber. Cricketer. Born 1937. English cricketer. David G. Barber. Canadian scientist and academic. Del Barber. Born 1983. Canadian country singer. Derek Barber. Baron Barber of Tewkesbury. Born 1918. Agricultural expert. Dick Barber. 1910–1983. American long jumper. Dominic Barber. 1955–2003. English theatre director. Dominique Barber. Born 1986. American football player. Don Barber. Born 1964. Canadian-born ice hockey player. Don Barber. 1871–1925. American architect. Douglas Barber. Canadian businessman. E. Edward Barber. Disambiguation. Multiple people, including Edward Barber. 1893–1915. British soldier during World War I and Victoria Cross recipient. Edward Barber. Minister. Died c. 1674. English Baptist minister. Edward Barber. Priest. 1841–1914. Anglican clergyman. Edward Thaddeus Barleycorn Barber. 1865–1948. Methodist minister on the island of Fernando Po. Edwin Atlee Barber. 1851–1916. American archaeologist and author. Elizabeth Wayland Barber. American author. Expert on textiles. Professor Emerita of Archaeology and Linguistics. Eric Barber. Born 1942. Irish professional soccer player. Eric Barber. Cricketer. 1915–1995. English cricketer. Ernie Barber. Disambiguation. Multiple people, including Ernie Barber. American football. 1914–1989. American football player. Ernie Barber. Australian footballer. 1895–1972. Australian rules footballer. Eunice Barber. Born 1974. Sierra Leonean athlete. F. Forrest Barber. Born 1952. American racing driver. Frances Barber. Born 1958. English actress. Frances Barber. c. 1735–1801. Jamaican manservant of Samuel Johnson from 1752 until Johnson's death in 1784. Francis Barber. Colonel. 1750–1783. Colonel in the Continental Army during the American Revolutionary War. Fred Barber. Born 1963. English soccer player. Frederick Barber. Cricketer. 1887–1943. English cricketer. G. Gary Barber. Chairman and CEO of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer. Film producer and co-founder of Spyglass Entertainment. George Barber. Disambiguation. Multiple people, including George Barber. Artist. Born 1958. Guyana-born video artist. George Anthony Barber. 1802–1874. English-born Canadian educator. George W. Barber. American race car driver. Jillian Barber. Born 1958. English-born Canadian actress. Glenn Barber. 1935 to 2008. American country and rockabilly performer. Glynis Barber. Born 1955. British actress. Graham Barber. Born 1958. English soccer referee. Greg Barber. Born 1966. Australian politician. H. Harriet Barber. Born 1968. English figurative painter. Harry James Barber. 1875 to 1959. Canadian politician. Herbert Spencer Barber. 1882 to 1950. American entomologist. Henry Barber. Disambiguation. Multiple people, including Henry Barber. Cricketer. 1841 to 1924. English cricketer. Henry Barber. Rock climber. Born 1953. American rock climber. Henry Barber. Sea captain. 18th century. British sea captain who discovered McKean Island. Sir Henry Barber. 1st Baronet. 1860 to 1927. British property developer. Hiram Barber. 1800 to 1888. American politician. Pioneer and businessman. Hiram Barber. Jr. 1835 to 1924. American politician. Horatio Barber. 1875 to 1964. British aviation pioneer. Horatio Barber. Cricketer. 1843 to 1869. English cricketer. Howard Barber. 1877 to 1950. English-born Australian politician. Ire Acute Barbe. Irina Barber. 1939 to 2006. Slovene author, journalist and notary in Hungary. Irving K. Barber. 1923 to 2012. Canadian forest industrialist and philanthropist. Isaac Ambrose Barber. 1852 to 1909. American politician. J. Allen Barber. 1809 to 1881. American politician. Jack Barber. 1901 to 1961. English footballer. James Barber. Disambiguation. Multiple people, including James Barber. Author. 1923 to 2007. Canadian author. James Barber. Biochemist. Born 1940. British professor of biochemistry at Imperial College London. James Barber. Politician. 1921 to 2001. Pennsylvania politician. James Barber. Rugby. New Zealand rugby footballer who represented New Zealand in Rugby League. James A. Barber. 1841 to 1925. American soldier in the American Civil War. James David Barber. 1930 to 2004. Political scientist. Jamie Barber. British restaurateur. Jeanette Barber. Born 1953. American stand-up comic. Television producer and writer. Jason Barber. Born 1966. English farmer. Jenny Barber. American actress. Jerry Barber. 1916 to 1994. American professional golfer. Jesse Barber. 1888 to 1959. American baseball player. Jesse Max Barber. 1878 to 1949. African American journalist, teacher and dentist. Jill Barber. Born 1980. Canadian singer-songwriter. Jim Barber. Disambiguation. Multiple people, including Jim Barber. American football. 1912 to 1998. American football player. Jim Barber. Ventriloquist. American ventriloquist. Comedian and singer. Joel Barber. 1876 to 1952. American architect. John Barber. Disambiguation. Multiple people, including John Barber. Basketball. Born 1927. American professional basketball player. John Barber. clergyman, died 1549. English clergyman, John Barber. Cricketer, 1849 to 1908. English cricketer, John Barber. Engineer, 1734 to 1801. English coalmaster and inventor, John Barber. Racing driver, born 1929. American Formula One driver, John P. Barber. American electrical engineer, John Rolfe Barber. 1841 to 1917. Canadian industrialist and politician, John Warner Barber. 1798 to 1885. American writer and illustrator, José María Chiquillo Barber. Born 1964. Spanish politician, Joseph Barber. 1757 to 1811. English landscape painter and art teacher, Joseph L. Barber. 1864 to 1940. American politician, Joshua Barber. Born 1977. American artist, Josiah Barber. 1771 to 1842. First mayor of Ohio City, Ohio, U.S. K. Karen Barber. Born 1961. English ice dancer, Karen Barber. Born 1949. British anthropologist and academic, Kate Barber. Born 1976. American field hockey player, Cantroy Barber. Born 1973. American footballer, Catherine Barber. Born 1959. Canadian lexicographer, Keith Barber. Disambiguation, multiple people, including Keith Barber, drummer, 1947 to 2005. London-born drummer, Keith Barber. Footballer, born 1947. English soccer player, Keith Barber. Geographer, British geographer, Kimberly Barber. Born 1959. Canadian mezzo-soprano and vocal pedagogue, Chris Barber. Canadian ice dancer, Kurt Barber. Born 1969. American football player and coach, L. Laird Howard Barber. 1848 to 1928. American politician, Lake Elisha Barber. Born 1987. American basketball player, Leonza Barber. Born 1966. American boxer, Len Barber. Born 1929. English soccer player, Leslie Barber. Born 1968. Canadian composer, Levi Barber. 1777 to 1833. American surveyor, court administrator, banker and legislator, Lionel Barber. Born 1955. English journalist, Lloyd Barber. 1932 to 2011. Canadian university administrator, Lucius Israel Barber. 1806 to 1899. American politician, Ling Barber. Born 1944. British journalist, Ling Barber. Makeup artist, American makeup artist, M. Malcolm Barber. Born 1943. British scholar of medieval history, Margaret Barber. 1869 to 1901. English Christian writer, Margaret E. Barber. 1866 to 1930. English missionary in China, Marion Barber, Jr. Born 1959. American football player, Marion Barber III. Born 1983. American football player, Matthew Barber. Born 1977. Canadian singer-songwriter, Mark Barber. American football player, Mary Barber. Disambiguation, multiple people, including Mary Barber. Poet, c. 1685 c. 1755. English poet, Mary Barber. Bacteriologist, 1911 to 1965. British pathologist and bacteriologist, Mary Elizabeth Barber. 1818 to 1899. British-born pioneering amateur woman scientist, Matt Barber. Actor, born 1983. English actor, Melissa Barber. Born 1980. American track and field sprint athlete. Merrill P. Barber, 1910 to 1985. American politician. Michael Barber. Disambiguation. Multiple people, including Michael Barber, educationist, born 1955. British educationist. Michael C. Barber, born 1954. Roman Catholic Bishop of Oakland. Michael Barber, chemist, 1934 to 1991. Developer of fast atom bombardment. Michael Barber, academic, born 1947. Australian mathematician, physicist and academic. Michael Barber, rapper, born 1980. American rapper. Michael Barber, wide receiver, born 1967. American football wide receiver. Mike Barber, tight end, born 1953. American football tight end and minister. Mike Barber, linebacker, born 1971. American football linebacker. Michael Barber, born 1980. American track and field sprint athlete. Miller Barber, 1931 to 2013. American golfer. N. Noel Barber, 1909 to 1988. British novelist and journalist. Nola Barber, 1901 to 1985. Australian mayor and community worker. News Barber, 1781 to 1844. American politician. O. C. Barber, 1841 to 1920. American businessman, industrialist and philanthropist. Orion Metcalf Barber, 1857 to 1930. American politician. P. Patricia Barber, born 1956. American jazz singer. Paul Barber, disambiguation. Multiple people, including Paul Barber, actor, born 1951. English actor. Paul Barber, bishop, born 1935. English bishop. Paul Barber, field hockey, born 1955. English field hockey player. Paul Barber, soccer administrator. English soccer administrator. Peter J. Barber, 1830 to 1905. American architect who was mayor of Santa Barbara. CA. Phil Barber, born 1965. English soccer player. Polly Barber, 1803 to 1898. Canadian teacher, farmer and businesswoman. R. Ray Barber, born 1923. Singer. Red Barber, 1908 to 1992. American sports broadcaster. Richard Barber, born 1941. British historian. Ron Barber, born 1945. American politician. Ron Barber, born 1975. American football player. Twin brother of Tiki. S. Samuel Barber, 1910 to 1981. American composer. Skip Barber, born 1936. American Formula One driver. Steve Barber, 1938 to 2007. American professional baseball player. Steve Barber, right-handed pitcher, born 1948. American baseball player. Tiki Barber, born 1975. American football player. Twin brother of Rond. Tommy Barber. English footballer. Trevor Barber, 1925 to 2015. New Zealand cricketer. W. Whitman A. Barber, 1853 to 1930. American politician. William Barber. Disambiguation. Multiple people, including William Barber, engraver, 1807 to 1879. Chief engraver for the U.S. Mint. William Barber, Ontario politician, before 1822 to 1889. Canadian businessman and politician. William Swindon Barber, 1832 to 1908. English architect. Fictional. Justin Barber, fictional character on the American soap opera The Bold and the Beautiful. Little Miss Barber, advertising character for some brands of tea. Notes: